I always wanted themed backgrounds. I think Nintendo fans are so like, we love to personalize and like, imagine being able to buy a Pokemon themed background. This would all change and like, or like an Animal Crossing themed background, but they still haven't implemented this. And it's
Hello everyone, this is Magbo Gaming here. Once again here on Angry Guys channel. Yep, I've been making more videos on Angry Guys channel than my own channel. But you know, I'm gonna pop in some more videos starting next week hopefully. So hopefully you guys will check out my channel, check the views I have right now. I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot. I do have some new content on the way, but I cannot say when they're gonna come up and how long it's gonna take me to do. I kind of want to surprise you guys at this point because the future is kind of uncertain with a lot of things, so I do not want to make promises that I'm not sure I'm gonna keep yet. I do have videos planned though, but yeah, anyways, I'm gonna do commentary on a little video from this user called the True Epic Gamer. Yep, once again. So before we comment on the video, be sure to check out the Angry Crypto Academy for those who wants to learn to invest into cryptocurrency. Be sure to give it a shot because Angry Guy is going to tell you exactly what cryptocurrency you should be investing in the long term because, well, the bull run is probably already here, so you may want to consider it because if you're still not that invested in crypto, digital assets that you can own because Nintendo don't want you to own anything or any other of these big corporation, it's something worth considering, honestly. At least. No pressure, but you know, it's there for if you want to check it out. Also, check out his Rumble as well because he uploads more videos on there, giving it more priority. He doesn't hold back his cusses there, especially in his live streams. Whenever he does his live stream, he does it the first half hour. He does it on YouTube and on Rumble, and then he goes full on Rumble. Get ready to rumble. Yep, so you can check out Angry Guy there. Anyways, this video is all about Nintendo being lazy, Nintendo's falling apart, Nintendo is quietly dying or something like that. But why is that? Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot of similar topics, so if you watch our previous videos, I think you'll have an idea what's going on, but we may find out a little bit more after watching this video. So yeah, let's see what the True Epic Gamer is gonna say about this.
Nintendo has gotten lazy, and somehow nobody seems to be talking about it. Mario Kart World was supposed to kick off the Switch 2 in style, but let's be real, it's a step down from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in more.
Yeah, so you would think that with the launch of the Switch 2 and you launch it with Mario Kart, it's supposed to be the most perfect move you could come with because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is literally the best-selling Switch game out there. So, of course, you're going to want to launch the next console with a banger as well, so it could start off very well. But with all the problems that it has right now in the empty open world, I've been hearing now that Mario Kart World is definitely going to have more DLCs in the future to continue development on the game, to add more stuff. So things are gonna be a lot different in Mario Kart World, and you know, we'll all be reporting on this to see the progress of that DLC. I'm going to imagine it may come later this year or sometime next year where Nintendo's gonna announce it. Only time will tell, like I said.
More ways than one. It looks fine and plays fine, but nothing about it screams next gen. Then came Donkey Kong Bonanza. Is it fun? Absolutely. It's a great game.
So Mario Kart World does look like it could have run on the Switch, I'm going to be honest for you. Except for the part where there's like 24 racers, so I'm not sure if the Switch can handle that. But other than that, I don't see nothing next gen. Donkey Kong Bonanza, let's see what he says.
But it plays it safe, and let's be honest, it feels more like a Mario Odyssey game just with a new skin. And here's the real kicker, both of these games were built for the original Switch. That's why they don't feel like bold leaps forward, because they're not. Nintendo's already behind, and the Switch 2 just launched. But this isn't anything new. Nintendo has been cutting these corners for years, reusing old assets and selling ports as full-price games. Remember Wind Waker HD? That was at least a real remaster, with actual upped graphics and everything. Then compare that to something like 3D All-Stars. No graphical upgrades, limited time release, and still full price.
Yeah, I remember the 2020 with Mario 3D All-Star. They didn't really put much effort in remastering the thing. They just ported in 3 games in one all together, just like what they did with Super Mario All-Stars. with the Wii, which is literally just a port from the Super Nintendo. Nothing much. And then now that we're talking about this issue with both Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World, they were both planned originally to be released on the Switch 1. So these two are probably it was supposed to come out maybe on Switch 1 much later in its life cycle, like 5 to 6 years after Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out. And then we see that, okay, now that the Switch 2 is going to be developed there, we could add some more stuff there, but they didn't have the time to add more stuff, didn't they?
And now we're paying $80 for first-party games. The Switch 2 console isn't cheap either, so what happened to the Nintendo that used to be so innovative? After the Wii U flopped, Nintendo needed a hit bad, and they got one. The Switch was an absolute game changer. Portable, unique, and packed with infinite potential. But this was also when Nintendo started to change. Most people didn't own a Wii U, so they honestly probably have no idea how many Switch games are just ports.
Yeah, that's true. The Wii U sold so abysmal, 13 million units versus the Nintendo Switch's 152 million units to be exact. So if you minus the 13 million units that the Wii U sold, the Switch sold 139 million units more. That is a lot. That is a huge difference. So it's no wonder why all these Wii U games got ported to the Switch. So they didn't up the graphics that much from Wii U to Switch, because we both know that Breath of the Wild was able to run on Wii U, and it also was a launch title on the Nintendo Switch. And then, well, Mario Odyssey came on Switch only, but I feel that Mario Odyssey could have probably won on Wii U, sort of, in some way, shape, or form. Maybe a toned down version, but it was still an HD console. Still looks pretty good. I would even dare to say that Donkey Kong Bonanza can kinda run on the Wii U. I don't know why I'm saying this, but that's how I feel of how much the graphics has progressed compared to PS4 and PS5. Because I'll tell you one thing, I think PS4 is still more powerful than Switch 2 at this time. For now. Once we see a game that can take full advantage of the Switch 2 hardware, then we'll talk and say, okay, yeah, we could definitely confirm that Switch 2 is way more powerful than PS4 and Steam Deck. But until that day comes, well, these games are not showing its graphical update, so they're kind of like playing safe after the Switch, with all the Wii U ports and then several new Switch games that are very similar to the predecessors and stuff. There's nothing revolutionary except for the tech itself, where you could play both in the console and as a portable, a hybrid console.
And to be fair, early on, I get it. I know why they did this. Bringing great games to a wider audience, it makes sense. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the best games Nintendo has ever made, and if they would have left it on the Wii U, it would have been completely forgotten. But that's where the problem started. Nintendo realized how much they could get away with. So they started porting Wii, Wii U, and even 3DS games, adding barely anything to the game, and then charging full price.
Yeah, some Wii games were ported, some 3DS games were ported. Like, for example, for the Wii, what was ported was The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Miitopia was ported from the 3DS, but a lot more games were ported from the Wii U in comparison. I think more than half of the Wii U's library were ported on the Switch. There's only like a handful of Wii U games that are exclusive to the Wii U, like Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, Nintendo Land, and Game & Wario, for example. And unfortunately, even the Zelda HD remakes we would have thought that it would have been on the Switch as well from by now, but I guess it isn't, so, that's weird.
Skyward Sword HD, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Luigi's Mansion 2, which is a 3DS game, and worst of all, we didn't even get a new Mario Kart during the time of the Switch generation, showing that Nintendo knew they didn't even have to make new games anymore. They could just get full price for the old ones. And now, even when Nintendo...
Exactly, so have you noticed that, remember that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze launched on Wii U in 2014 for $50, and then we have a significant price drop when the Nintendo Selects came out on 2016, so 2 years after, $20, no joke, $20 only. And then once they port it to the Switch, I would say in 2018, which was another 2 years later, $60 for some reason. And what did they add new that valid the extra $40 compared to the Wii U's Nintendo Selects? Funky Mode. Is Funky Mode worth $40? Heck no. Of course not.
Guys, is the UI lazy for the Nintendo Switch too? Let's see. So here we have almost identical UI to the Nintendo Switch 1. And personally, I was never even a huge fan of the first UI on the Nintendo Switch. Like the first home menu screen, however you want to call it. I always wanted themed backgrounds. I think Nintendo fans are so like, we love to personalize and like, imagine being able to buy a Pokemon themed background. This would all change and like, or like an Animal Crossing themed background, but they still haven't implemented this. And it's here we see the almost identical UI. I know it's slightly different, but it almost feels like you're not even on a new console. And I don't really understand why they've got, I know it's don't fix what's maybe broken, but you know, it's just like you're buying a new console. I think I personally would want it to feel like I'm on a new console, you know? This would feel exactly this, I know, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a little bit of a shame, and I really just hope they'd, even with this new generation, introduce custom backgrounds. Imagine being able to buy a Mario Kart World themed background. I'd pay like £5 for that. Or even if it came with each game. Oh my God. They wouldn't be that generous, though, would they? Let me know what you guys think.
I don't know, but then now Nintendo sees, oh yeah, we could get away re-releasing old Wii U games on the Switch at full price. That should have been a $40 game right there. To be more fair, maybe $30 to $40, but nope, $60 on every single remix that has ever came out. I think Miitopia came out for $50 if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. As prices for video games continues to increase, so are cryptocurrency as well. So, is it a good time to buy crypto right now? Yeah, definitely check this out.
Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now.
Makes a new game, they find a way to recycle it and use it again. Look at Tears of the Kingdom. It reuses the entirety of the Breath of the Wild world, the same map, same engine, same basically everything. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, which isn't as obvious, but it's clearly built over Mario Odyssey. The animations, the movement, the level layout, it's all too familiar and reused. And listen,
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for using the same engine, like Mario Galaxy 2 used the same engine as Mario Galaxy 1. Donkey Kong Bonanza reused the same engine as the other one, and it kind of helps in a way to get the games released a lot quicker, but I think that Donkey Kong Bonanza took a long while for development. 6+ years after Mario Odyssey came out, I believe, right? So I just noticed that, yeah, this is why Nintendo is not taking risks like they used to. They're just using the same type of formula that works and make some minor changes, like maybe kind of not exactly a good comparison, but like re-releasing those sports games and the Call of Duty games and stuff, but they're doing with their Nintendo titles. They added like new worlds and all that stuff, but it's pretty much off the engine. It's not built from the very ground up from zero. Not a lot of games that Nintendo makes nowadays are built up from zero, especially the games that came out this year. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Of course, that's a HD port. Then we got Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which is also another remastered port. And then the two Nintendo games that came out on Switch 2, which is Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, which was supposed to be on Switch 1. But I guess that they wanted to add more to it, and they couldn't handle it on the Switch 1, so they put on Switch 2, I guess. That's what it's pretty much boiled down to. Nothing's being built from the ground up for this new console right now on Switch 2. And not even for Switch 1 for a lot of these games. There's a few that probably was made from the ground up, like Mario Odyssey. But then Donkey Kong Bonanza, well, it wasn't from the ground up, but it is a brand new game. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Like both of those games, I'm not hating towards those games. It's just the reality that they are reused assets. Nintendo is focused on profit and not originality and brand new games like they used to be, and it shows big time. And I guess the big question here is that a bad thing, or is it just smart business? I get it, they're a company, they're here to make money. But man, it just really feels like they've lost the magic and that whimsy that made Nintendo special back in the day. This isn't the same company that gave us Ocarina of Time, Mario Sunshine, or Mario Galaxy. Back then, they were fearless and always innovating. Now they feel lost in the business, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully things
So I feel that honestly, the innovation has been gone ever since Iwata died. Because Iwata's always like pushing boundaries, making new innovations alongside with Reggie Fils-Aimé. And I guess Miyamoto, at one point, he was doing the same as well. Miyamoto's becoming older, so he's leaving like the new generation to make games like the Mario Odyssey team and stuff. As you can see, a lot of these Nintendo games are not built from the ground up. There are a few exceptions, but not everything is like that, I will say. So that's what I have noticed as well. Like, there's not a lot of Switch games that I could think of that has been built from the ground up completely to what it is now. That's not a remake or report and stuff like that. There's a few, but they probably use the same engine, so I guess that wouldn't count too. I was gonna say Xenoblade 3, but I'm pretty sure it used the engines from Xenoblade 2. And I was thinking Famicom Detective Club, the Emil the Smiley Man, using the same engine as the original Famicom Detective Club that was remade on the Switch and only digital only pretty much. If you don't know about Famicom Detective Club, let that be known in the Angry Guy channel that I definitely advocate for this type of movement, and I'm glad they exist. But I wouldn't say that it was built from the ground up. It was a remake and report. They use old assets and stuff, so it's like a business strategy they have now. They just reuse old assets, they remake it, they make it look more prettier, they add something new to it, good enough for the people to get excited for it or to try it again and stuff. And that's how they make their money these days. Nothing original, or barely anything original whatsoever. I think that Kirby and the Forgotten Land must have been built from the very ground up for Switch 1. I think. Let me know if I'm mistaken, but there are other games, that and Mario Odyssey. I don't know, there are a few, but there are very few. And I won't count any of the Zelda games, because that was literally from Wii U.
turn around when they finally revealed the next 3D Mario or Zelda game, but right now something just doesn't feel right. That's all I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments what you think about Nintendo nowadays.
Okay, so yeah, like he says, check out his channel so you could check out his other videos as well. He makes pretty good content. Simple but straight to the point. I agree with everything that he's saying there. So what do you think about Nintendo nowadays? A lot of people sure are disappointed. Nintendo has become the corporate greed for quite a while now. I think since the Switch days, since Iwata died, and Nintendo has not been the same since. There are different kind of Nintendo now. They're not Nintendo of innovation or budgeting or making things inexpensive, because when they were innovating and everything that's new, you would think that the value would be a lot higher, but no, at that time they cared more about the consumers. They want as much people as possible to buy the game and experience it for themselves, and they weren't as worried about money as long as they were able to make some money back from the sales. Sure, they're always about profit. Every single company is about profit. That's nothing wrong with that. That's what a business has to do in order to thrive out there. But if you're just focusing only on the profits and you're not caring much about the creativity or trying to impress your audience more and give them more value, innovate, move forward in technology and stuff, then yeah, I feel that we're pretty much stuck where we are and that we're capped out. But I feel that they could do so much more than what they're doing right now on the Switch 2. We'll see if there's any awesome game that's made from the very ground up for the Switch 2. We'll see about that. Hopefully there are plenty of that. I almost forgot Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I think that was made from the ground up for Switch. I really think so. That was definitely an original game. I love it. Anyways, I just want to point that out. Be sure to check out Angry Guy's channel on Rumble as well, because, well, if you want no censorship whatsoever, if you want to hear Angry Guy cuss like a sailor, literally like a sailor selling the 7 seas, army matey, then you could check out his Rumble. You can also check out his Angry Crypto Academy as well if you want to get into crypto and know how to invest into crypto these days and exactly what coins we recommend you check into and invest for long-term gains. And check out my channel at Magbo Gaming. There hasn't been much new content, but there is a lot of older content that I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy, especially my game hunt videos, me talking about video game topics, me showing off my game collection if you want to see my game collection as well. There's a lot of videos on that, and even some videos of me doing some repair work on my consoles and handhelds and stuff, learning something new pretty much. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I'll see you all in the next one. Magbo out. Take care. Peace.